Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome if you're new here. So today I want to share some culture shocks that I'd experienced in South Africa as an African, and these things were very shocking to me. So be ready. And just as a disclaimer, guys, I'm using natural light, so this video is gonna have some fluctuating lights, and also there is a road just nearby, so just be warned. All right. So I think the first culture shock that I had experienced was the same gender relationships. So I have a friend who's from South Africa, and he would like casually tell me about the fact that they're very open to same gender relationship and all of that. And I was more of like, nah, it's not that big of a deal. Like I knew of it because I'd been told about it. But then I had a different experience when I had a girl approach me. Like it's this day, I was chilling by the beach, the Clifford Forth, and then this girl comes to me and then she was just like making small talk conversation. And I was like, cool. She just sort of makes a friend. And then she asks for my number and then I give her. And then after I give her my number, she tells me, I hope you don't mind dating the same gender. I was like, oh my God, I forgot where I am. And then I was like, I think my face can't hide expressions that she started laughing. She's like, oh, it's all on your face. I was like, yeah, I'm not from here. So yeah, that was a big shock for me. Like coming from a country where those things are not even spoken about, it was a big shock to like have a girl approach me. The second culture shock that I'd experienced was the PDA. Like South Africans are big. They're big on PDA, and I think they don't even realize that they're big on PDA. I think they realize that because they come from a country where romance is not very much displayed for most people. So like, I noticed that. And I remember I mentioned it to a friend, you guys are big on PDA. I was like, really? And then he said, oh, actually, thinking about it, I've never seen much PDA in your country. That makes a lot of sense why you're shocked. And if you don't know what PDA is PDA is a public display of affection. Like when, let's say, a couple, they're walking around in a mall, in public, they just like hold hands, kiss, like cuddle, like those kind of stuff publicly. And they're okay with it. But for me, I was like shocked because you guys, if you're from Tanzania, like those things people don't just like a couple could be walking around like they're just walking like brother and sister on the road. Like no one would ever known that these people are dating. I think that's why Tanzanian men can easily get away with multiple relationships because like PDA is not that much of a big thing. Like they could easily tell that one was my cousin because the way they're sitting with their girlfriends and the way they're sitting with their cousins is no different. Anyway, so that was culture shock number two. Number three was less of a shock, but it was something that sort of it was a shock, but not like a shock. It was just like, that's nice. Like I was just impressed. I was really impressed by how much you can go cashless in South Africa. Considering it's an African country, like I'm very sketchy being in an African country with no cash because I know, for instance, before going to South Africa, I was in Zambia and then I had money in my card, but the number of shops that I'd went to and they told me no, we need cash. I can't tell you how many. So like I had this mentality that being in an African country is sort of like need cash everywhere because you don't know which shop accepts cash, which one does not. But then getting South Africa, how much cashless they are, I was really, really, really impressed. Like you could literally live without cash. Like just have money on your phone, just have money on your SIM, like you're good. So that really impressed me, guys. You guys are ahead of us in that matter. And salute. Culture shock number four was just how late the sun set in South Africa. Uh, no, I'm not used to that. I mean, like, I think I'm too close to the equator that my country, it, things are almost similar enough, like throughout the year. So I'm just not used to that much fluctuation. Like, the second day actually after I arrived, I had an evening night out with a friend who lives in South Africa, and then we're supposed to meet out at like 8 p.m. So I was chilling. I was chilling in my room saying, you know what? I'll just look at the window and see when it starts getting dark. That's when I'll know it's sort of like 7ish, and then I'll start getting ready when it's getting dark. I was just chilling there minding my business. I'm not even looking at the clock. Until he texts me and tell me, yo, where are you? I'm here. I was like, you said we should meet at 8. He was like, yeah, it's 8. I'm looking through my window. The sun is just setting. I'm like, how is it 8? And then I look at my clock, it is 8. I'm like, how is it 8? Like, I was so confused, guys. Like, my brain went through like a small tantrum, like, how is it 8? And the sun is just setting. How is it 8 already? So that was a very big shock for me because I was like, are you guys really in Africa or are you in Europe? Like, I understand the whole geography thing, but yeah, that was a shock. So yeah, that was also a shock for me because for some reason in my head, I feel like all African countries should have like all of the similarities. So like even minor differences makes me be like, are you really Africans? you know. But yeah, that's not a big deal. So that's it. Another thing that really shocked me is not even like the fact that there is gun violence, because I had heard about the fact that there are gun violence in the country. But what really shocked me is the fact that like even people who live in those townships where there are those gangs, they're even afraid to go to their homes at certain times, worrying that the gangs are like on the streets. It was really shocking to me, like, because so that element of it shocked me, but also something else that shocked me is like how much whenever you're going out, people have to remind you that just watch your surroundings. Like if anything happens, move, because gun violence could start like at any time. Like because coming from Tanzania, like whenever I'm going out clubbing, like no one ever tells me to watch out my surrounding. No one ever tells me sort of like if anything start popping, run. Like it's sort of just make sure you come back home. Don't go sleep with a guy. Like those are the things I'm worried about whenever I'm in Tanzania. But then there, like every time I told the friend of mine who was a local, every time I told him that I'm going out tonight, he would just be very cautious, like, oh, what's your surrounding? If this and this happens, do this. If this and this happens, do this. I was like, like I feel like it's usually one thing for foreigners to be worried about shit popping in certain places, and it's another thing if even the locals are concerned about shit popping. It means when shit pops, it pops big, and that's what scared me. I'm like, okay, you guys are very violent if that's the case, because like if even the locals are afraid, who am I not to be afraid? So yeah, if you've visited South Africa and have had like any culture shocks in a way, please share them with us in the comments below, and let's see how much the country is shocking. So that's it for this video, guys, and thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed them.